it's Mr. Searle. Thank you so much for joining me at SEARLE Learning. Today's video is for parents and carers, our fabulous adults at home, and it's about finding resources or having resources available within the home that are going to support the learning of our little people. So SEARLE Learning videos are for practicing concepts that students will have been exposed to at school in the classroom. And what our videos do is help solidify that learning or give them another opportunity to get it. So I've got lots of things to show you. So let's start.
Let's go!
I want to preface this video by saying that nothing that I'm going to show you today should be expensive or hard to find. What I'm doing today is giving you some ideas of what you can have readily available in one space, in one box or one area at home so that kids can readily grab these things when they need to or when they're following along on a SEARLE Learning video. All right, so we're going to start with fine motor skills. So fine motor skills are incredibly important. And fine motor skills, if you're not sure what that is, so as opposed to gross motor skills, fine motor skills are essentially, we're talking about the hands and we're talking about the ability, the dexterity and strength and the ability to use hands. Now, obviously that's incredibly important, but we see a lot of kids coming to kindergarten or starting school with very poor fine motor skills. And that tells us that they're not doing enough before school, whether it be at home or at preschool, with their hands. So first thing I would say is make sure you have Play-Doh at home. Now Play-Doh can be made at home inexpensively. There's lots of great simple recipes for that to be found online, but you can also buy little tubs of it. Play-Doh is great because it's really getting those hands working, it's getting those muscles working, and also they're starting to get that dexterity by using their fingers, by using force with the Play-Doh. You can get these fabulous little plastic, you can get wooden ones now too. What are we called? Tweezers. And these are fantastic because look at the fingers that I'm using to operate a pair of tweezers. Exactly the same as pencil grip. So this is a great prelude to using a pencil for writing, for drawing and writing. I use these in the classroom. They're those, fluffy, fuzzy balls. And they are great for picking up and counting out using the tweezers. Just a simple fine motor activity that can be done at home every afternoon. Please make sure that your child has access to writing materials, writing and drawing materials. Lots of drawing. Kids should be drawing every day. It's so helpful. So pencils, crayons, and of course something to do it all on. Just normal paper, scrap paper. I do recommend, if you're following along with the SEARLE Learning videos, I recommend having a workbook or like just an empty blank scrapbook that can be bought really inexpensively from the supermarket. I like to use one of these big A3 art pads because it keeps everything in one place. It's also high quality enough paper for me to use, tear out pages and use them as learning posters that I can have on the wall. So that's great for literacy. I'm going to show you an alphabet chart. So this is an alphabet or sound chart. Now this is something that you can make. It's something that you can either very inexpensively or for free download from the internet. And these are the things you should be looking for. So it's the entire alphabet. The letters are formed in the same way as the letters that we're teaching kids to write. So where I am, that's the New South Wales Foundation font. But it just depends on where you are. So they appear in the same way as we're teaching them to write them. Does that make sense? So they're in order, obviously, and they have a picture. So each sound or letter has a hint picture. So there are myriad ways of using this, and I'll be using something like this a lot, especially in writing lessons. But so for instance, the way you could use this, or the way we teach kids to use this, is if they need to make the word say ant, but they're not sure what sounds are in ant, they sound out the word or segment the word ant, then find those sounds, write those sounds. Oh, apple, oh, nest, TV, same as TV, ant, and they can write the word. So lots of uses for that. Now I've laminated mine so that I can be using it all the time. You don't have to do that, but if you have access to a laminator, great. And if you do have access to a laminator, this is another great thing you can do, is create or print off a writing alphabet letter formation page. If it's laminated, then with a whiteboard, you can, a whiteboard marker, you can trace the words following the directional arrows. Remember, we always start at the top, and we write our letters and say our letters and then rub it out. And then we can use it again. Wonderful thing to have at home. While I'm holding my whiteboard marker, mini whiteboard is a great thing to have as well. Going to be super useful when a child is following the SEARLE Learning videos as well. If that's sitting with them, they can be doing the same thing that I'm doing in the video, as well as the activities that I talk about at the end of each video. It doesn't have to be this big, this is just the one I have at home, but you might like to get one of the really smaller ones that you can buy, again, inexpensively from a supermarket or a stationery store. I am going to show you these cards. I've talked about these cards before in another video, but these are short word flashcards, otherwise known as CVC word cards. CVC meaning consonant, vowel, consonant. Now these are fantastic, again, for segmenting and blending, for reading, okay? So we look at a card, or you might be with your little one and holding up the card, or they could be using them themselves. You might give them a little job to do, say, in the pack, find peg, and then write me the word. So the way you can use them is flash them up. We say the sounds. Oh, we know that's a tin. T, I, n. What's the word? Tin. Yeah. What's another one? B, a, s. What's the word? Bus. Another one. Oh no, we did that one. Another one. P, e, n. What's the word? Pen. So a fabulous thing to have at home. Now these can be found very inexpensively at a department store like Kmart, a supermarket. I've also started seeing these turn up at Savers or your secondhand or thrift store very cheaply for like 50 cents. So see if you can find some of those flashcards. All right. We're going to look at numeracy for a little bit now. So things that you can have at home which are fabulous for practicing counting, addition and subtraction, whole number knowledge. Remember, these are just suggestions. Things to count with can be anything. That could be dry pasta shells. It could be like dried beans or peas that you have in the pantry. It doesn't have to be something bought specifically for counting, but I am going to show you some of the things that I use all the time, and these are all things that can be found inexpensively at a department store or we call them $2 shops, where not everything is $2 of course anymore, but those more inexpensive variety stores. Okay, so counters. We use counters constantly. You can get big tubs of counters like that. That way they're all in one place, not all over the floor. Or you can get little packets of them individually like that. Other things to count with. I recommend getting things or having things that are really tactile and fun to use. Here are some little softy, squishy, colourful elephants. They come in tubs like this. There's a whole range of these things that you can get. Fun stuff. sparkly stars, paddle pop sticks, coins. All these coins that we hardly ever use anymore. Get a little jar, have a little jar of coins for counting. They're also going to be really useful a little bit later on when I start doing addition and subtraction videos on SEARLE Learning. These are very simple $1 playing cards. Playing cards are fantastic. They're fantastic for counting. They're fantastic for addition and subtraction games. Highly recommend having again, an inexpensive lot of those in the box. I highly recommend having blocks. Now these are Unifix cubes. These are really fantastic. What I love about these is that they, and all classrooms have these now, but they are great to have at home. So they're great for counting. But they're also great for whole number knowledge because you can make them into any kind of shape. And then talking about what you can see, so I had 5 and then I changed it to another shape. I haven't added any and I haven't subtracted any, so I know this is still 5. But I can see 3 in the middle and 1 on each side. So what is 3 and 1 and 1? 5. What is 3 and 2? 3 and 2 is 5. I haven't added any, I haven't subtracted any, so it's still 5. So the whole number knowledge stuff. Subtizing, which means recommending a pattern of objects that is familiar and can become familiar. Dice. So this is representing dice dot patterns. So obviously each side has a pattern of dots that remains the same. And every time we see that, we always know that's 5. So have a couple of good sized dice at home. There's lots of games to be played with those. Likewise, dominoes. I've got these fun little colorful dominoes that I picked up really inexpensively, but any kind of dominoes. The ones that only go up to 6 on any one side. To start with anyway. A 10 frame. This is a 10 frame. I've got a magnetized 10 frame from the shops with magnetized counters, but this is something that you can really easily just print off, make and print off and laminate or not laminate. But a 10 frame is used every day in the classroom, and it's a wonderful thing to have at home. Have a copy that can be grabbed at any time. Again, I'm going to be using 10 frames a lot in my number talks and in my addition and subtraction videos. So if your child has access to a 10 frame, fantastic. Now I've laminated this one so that it can be drawn on, so that we can draw dots, for instance, in the 10 frame and then wipe it clean. But obviously you can also just use objects within the 10 frame and take them off again. This is a number formation sheet that I've laminated. Again, you can make this or you can inexpensively download these. And these are great if they're laminated because you can use a whiteboard marker. Always starting at the top, we can write our numbers. I recommend ones like this that go from 0 up to 20, and then we can rub it out. And that's a great fine motor activity to be practicing in the afternoon.
Let's go!
In the rest of this video, I'm just going to be talking about quality children's literature, which means good quality children's books. And I'm going to feature some of my favorite authors. I often get asked by parents, what books do you think I should have at home? So this is just a little few that I've grabbed from my collection. If you would like a more comprehensive list of children's books or talking about how to identify quality children's literature, please just go to my website, the parent page at searlelearning.com.au, searlelearning.com.au. Go to the website, go to the parent page. There's a little form there for suggestions, pop it in there and I will get right to it. Okay, so my favorite children's author of all time is Anthony Browne. an English author who's been at it for decades and who has created some of the most iconic and wonderful children's books of all time. The most beautiful illustrator and writer. These books are full of meaning. They're incredibly well written and excellent for visual literacy, which is looking at the pictures and finding meaning from the pictures. So I highly recommend anything by Anthony Brown. Julia Donaldson, you're probably familiar with because of the success of books like Room on a Broom and The Gruffalo. Wonderful lyrical books, they're great books for rhyme. These wonderful classic, there's a hippopotamus on my roof books by Hazel Edwards, that's right. I picked up a whole collection of these for $5 at the post office. So wacky do. Anything by Jeannie Baker. Well, depending on the age of your little one. Where the Forest Meets the Sea is a great one. There's other great ones by Jeannie. Kids love these. So extremely well written, very few words, but lots to look at in the pictures, to talk about in the pictures. Alison Lester, again, a classic children's author with really imaginative and more recently, some great rhyming books. Great Australian author, Aaron Blabey, superstar children's author now. Aaron Blabey's books, his picture books, he's got graphic novels and stuff now, but and films. But the Pig the Pug collection, kids love them. Thelma the Pony collection, amazing. And then just, random, hilarious, wonderful, rhyming, simple texts with fabulous painted pictures. Piranhas don't eat bananas. The kids go wild for that one. And classic Australian author, Libby Gleeson. Just beautifully written books. She always chooses works with wonderful illustrators as well, like Freya Blackwood. Mem Fox, classic children's author. Anything by Mem Fox, I highly recommend. And I wanted to talk about including First Nations authors in your collection at home. I highly recommend Adam Goods's books. Adam Goods was a sporting superstar. Now he is a superstar children's author. These books are absolutely beautiful and wonderful books to talk about with children, especially when you're introducing or talking about Aboriginal culture, First Nations peoples, and Australian history in language that is suitable for a little person. Can't recommend Adam Goods enough. There are wonderful books out there that are really helpful with kids' numeracy. An oldie but a goodie is The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. I grew up with The Very Hungry Caterpillar, which means you definitely grew up with The Very Hungry Caterpillar. It's still there and it's wonderful because there's mathematical concepts in this book, like time, to talk about, as well as ordering and counting, counting out the foods and the days. Just beautiful book. This is a great and has become a bit of a classic. 1 is a Snail, 10 is a Crab by April Pulley-Sire and Jeff Sire. This one, if you can get a copy of this will do you great from kindergarten all the way up to year 6. Just great whole number knowledge. So 5 is a dog and a snail. So a dog has 4 legs and the snail only has the 1. 4 and 1 is 5. Wonderful book for whole number knowledge. I also recommending having a couple of non-fiction texts at home. Make sure it's a good quality one. Make sure it has great photos or illustrations and interesting facts for kids. Some kids will really gravitate to non-fiction over fiction, and as my nephew did when he was young, he just loved reading about facts about the world, whether that be about animals or dinosaurs or the environment. So make sure you have some of those around as well to cater for needs. Please read, make sure that you read to your child every day. So every evening before sleep time, if you read a couple of really good quality simple texts like these, what you're doing is you're modeling to your child what a good reader does. And it's something easy and enjoyable to share. You're also really sharing the enjoyment of quality books. And that is a really important message. If there is anything that you would like to know more about, or you have any suggestions for future parent help videos, please make sure again that you go to searlelearning.com.au, go to the parent page, send me a little note, and I will get right on it. Thank you, parents and carers, for joining me at SEARLE Learning. I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.